motivate me. Because when they talking about me, that means I'm doing something.
You see, while you're over there watching me and talking about me, I'm working. I'm working hard. I'm taking things to the next level. You keep gossiping and I'll keep working. You keep talking smack and I'll keep working. You keep focusing on everything and everyone else and I'll keep working. And when you finally look around at where you are and where I'm at, you realize that you have nothing left to talk smack about. And you will lose, I will win. What do you do about the negative guy that's trying to bring you down? Ignore and outwork, outperform every last one of them. While you're over there watching me and talking about me, I'm working hard. I'm taking things to the next level. You keep gossiping and I'll keep working. You keep talking smack and I'll keep working. You keep focusing on everything and everyone else and I'll keep working. And when you finally look around at where you are and where I'm at, you'll realize that you have nothing left to talk smack about. You lose, I will win.
Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? It is me, Mike Lepre, King Mike L. This is Legit Paranormal, brought to you by LegitPodcastsdotcom. It is September 17th, 2023. For the math geeks, I would say 2 times 3 is 6, plus, times 2 is 12. And then on the other side, you got I can't get 12. Who got some gob. Joining me, Sin Trader Hill, author. How are you, Sin?
I'm great. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing really good.
You look good.
It's been. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So do you. It's been a very eventful day for me. It's been like I want to sue the NFL for the how fast my heart is going. You know what I mean? Like,
I do.
Unnecessary. Or I'm a grown up that needs to act like them. It's either or, and I'm leaving it up to the debate. Joining us, Sarah Paranormal. What's up, Sarah?
You know, Sunday football. The Bills won. The Giants are about to win, so it's good. Nope. He's like, I'm going to choose some.
No. The game's still going on. Nobody won yet, but I'll tell you what. Josh Allen did what Josh Allen was supposed to do today.
Yeah, you look good. I'm happy.
So, we're waiting for our guest, Eric, to come on.
He will be here shortly because why? Because he's phenomenal.
Yep. All right. So we've had Eric on the Clip Show.
Yep.
Right. He's the one with the really incredible voice, right?
Yes, he's got the best voice.
Yeah.
That's why he started this new podcast of his called Strange Chapters, and he's actually reading short stories.
Yeah.
Ooh, that would be good.
He used mine first. I was so excited. So
That's awesome.
excited.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
You know,
Came out Friday.
you should tell him that he needs to put a female voice on those recordings to just break up every now and then break up his sound, because he has such a good sound that I might just fall asleep and I won't get through the book. And that's not an insult. That's literally like he's got that Barry White bass to his voice.
Yeah, but he adds inflection to it. So he'll go, if the sentence says, "Oh my God," he'll say, "Oh my God." So it'll wake you right back up.
I'm trying to get you a job here, Sin. I'm trying to get you a job, and you're not going along with it.
Sarah, you're trying to get rid of me.
No, I was gonna say, don't give her more stuff. We need her.
No, I'm just saying. Imagine if he added one of you guys, the girls' voices.
Oh,
that there's some
my voice.
I tried recording a couple of my short stories the other day, and I sucked at it. I sucked.
It's never good to listen to your own voice on recording.
No,
it is not. No.
No. First off,
I'm gonna have to read it like a Southern Belle. Then I might like it.
Oh, I like that, Sin.
I can do it.
Do it.
So listen.
Okay.
You're hitting on a point here, isn't it? If you do an impersonation and you hear yourself on a recording, it kind of sounds like it does. When you hear your own voice on a recording, everyone the first time's like, "Oh, come on, really? That's what I sound like."
Mm-hmm.
Right? Everyone has that reaction, right? It's got something to do with the ears. So I don't know what. But.
Maybe that's what I should do. Maybe I should do different voices, because I could do, this one. We could talk and, you never know what.
That's pretty sexy.
I know this.
I'll be honest. The one that I've been doing nonstop to myself, again, is one of my issues. Is Rick. I want to have party, Rick. I want to throw a big pot. Rick, you got hard drive, Rick. That woman's voice. Oh my God! You know the one. She's from. Oh man, she's like. I want to see. She's from Lithuania. She's got like a real. She's Rick. She's trying to say Rick. She goes Rick. I want to have.
Is it Sophia?
No.
Where she's from?
It's this. No, it's a young girl that works. So she works the door at one of the bars there, right? But she's like, again, from like Lithuania, pretty much, and her family's all there, and they have like their own different type of parties, right? Like it's very like Rick was saying, like it's very old school, like carry people on a chair. Then all of a sudden it's like techno lasers and all this weird stuff.
Sounds so fun.
So hearing her talk to him and tell him that she wanted to have a party there was such music to my ears. I was having such a great time listening to her talk. Rick, I want to have party. Rick, you have hard drive. Rick, I take care of all of that. Or Rick,
I take care of all of that. Yes.
She's killing me.
Yes.
So
was that on Block Island? That was on Block Island.
Yeah. There's on Block Island. There's just characters, right? The thing is, they all have to live there, so it's different than living in a town or a city. It's weird. Like you're all on an island together, so you gotta kind of get to know each other, because then it turns into like Lord of the Flies, which that's worst case scenario for Block Island.
That's a terrible thing to happen.
Yeah, I know. Well, this is a paranormal show. So
who's Piggy?
Wait, we're supposed to do an investigation on Block Island in October, and that does not make me want to go. Like a Lord of the Flies.
All right, so
right?
Listen to me for a second. There is no Lord of the Flies movement going to happen. People, they're so lazy that if someone gets, they text message. You know what I'm trying to say? So it just ain't going to be like that. But Block Island in the summer is not the same place as the Block Island I went to in the winter. Not the same at all, right? Because those old buildings just seem older, and the stone seems a little more stony, if that's a word. It just gets, it's really creepy. It looks more Stephen Kingish. Is that a term? Because if it's not,
and more like a ghost town, you mean?
Yeah, it gets creepy. the buildings go from like cheery and like, oh, look at that old building to holy crap, look at that building. And like just walking the so that main strip in the summertime, it's like Mardi Gras. There's like people everywhere. In the winter, there's nobody anywhere.
It's like The Shining was a whole island. Is that what you're saying?
What's that?
It's the movie The Shining, where
Yes.
if it was a whole island.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sarah, they all go in their houses and stay there in the cold because it's like it gets cold on the island, obviously, with the wind coming off the ocean. But
right,
they just stay in and they only go to like 1 or 2 bars. Most places close for the year, and they just go home because it's only seasonal, really. Like the goal is to try to get people to come out and see that part of Block Island because there was a jingle. Come away on the Black Island Ferry, leave all your troubles behind. That was the biggest like radio song for like Block Island when I was a kid, all the way up until I had kids. They used that same jingle, so it's always been like a happy place to go. So I go, and I'm an idiot, obviously. I go in the winter thinking, it'll be fun, and it was fun because of the people I was with, but the place itself. I don't like looking at it. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel right at all. It was just, And I'm like, the locals are great people, but like, I'm scared of fishermen. Does that make any sense?
You're scared of fishermen?
Like old school guys that look like fishermen.
What was that movie? I saw what you did last summer with the fisherman guy.
Yeah,
I mean more
with the hook.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm thinking more like boys. Like they go out to like when a guy looks like a fisherman.
They don't mess around.
They don't. That's my issue with them. They don't. I don't know how I get on that topic, but they don't. Fishermen do not. Sarah, you can write this down. Fishermen do not mess around. Just in case if you ever get.
Right, hold on. I will write it down. Fishermen do not mess around.
They don't. Yeah. Hook or not.
I got it.
As we wait for Eric, I just want to say. The New York Giants just won 31-28.
Oh yeah!
They blew it down 20-0 at a half. They lost 40-0 last week. It's a miracle. It's a miracle.
It's a funny miracle.
It really is. It's ridiculous. So no.
I need to see a celebratory dance from you.
Yeah. Come on, Mike.
No, I don't.
Oh, come on. At least throw your hands in the air.
No, I only do no matter what the music is, I dance to Dr. Dre in my head.
Okay, well then go.
I just bob. I'm just a bobber. I just bob. That's all I do. I really, Dr.
Right.
Dre.
Start and I'll follow you. Start and I'll follow you.
Sarah, events that are upcoming. What have you been looking at? What have you been up to? What are you cooking?
Well, coming up October 14th, if you're in the Florida area, in Arcadia, Florida. There's going to be a Paracon at the historic Heard Opera House, and Feelin' Paranormal, who is putting it on, is actually going to be joining us on the Clips show in a couple of weeks. So I'm sure they'll be telling us much more about it. Interestingly enough, Legit Podcast has been invited May 4th, 2024 to another Paracon in Arcadia to fight child trafficking. It's going to raise money, and we're going to go and we're going to do a live show and do some live interviews from there. So a bunch of stuff going on in Florida. Sin, you want to tell us about what you got going on there soon in Tennessee?
Yeah. October 21st is going to be, this is actually the one that's put on partly by Eric. It is the Tennessee Haunts and Legends Expo at the National Fairgrounds, and it's going to be the 21st from 9 until, I believe it's 6 o'clock, and we're on Central Time. So last I saw was 75 vendors, and that's everything from like my books to his T-shirts to people bringing in sage and all kinds of trinkets and palm readers. And I mean, a little bit of everything is going to be there. And half of the money that they make, the majority of it, goes to the Trousdale House in Gallatin, which is an historic place that they're helping fund to keep it, going. And the other part is going to the Animal Rescue Corps. And that's they're actually out of DC, but their flagship is in Lebanon, Tennessee. So they rescue, and they'll go all over the United States rescuing animals.
I love that.
Yes, I do too. I do too.
My dad's a director for the Humane Society here, so we get a lot of those animals that come from all over the country, and it's a really important cause.
It is. It is. I couldn't work there full time because I'd want to take them all home with me.
That is the problem. I get pictures daily of cute animals that come into the shelter, and I want to adopt them all. And if I end up with another pet in my house when my husband comes home from work, I'm going to be in trouble. So
yeah.
He goes to work, he comes home, there's an animal.
So a couple things. One, trinkets. So the problem I have with trinkets is I don't like when I'm at a Paracon and I walk up on someone's table, and it's basically just junk.
No,
I'm not trying to be mean, but
right.
It's me. And to me, what am I going to do with that? In other words, they make stuff that makes me say, well, what am I going to do with that?
Well, and that's you, because there's a lot of people that come in and go, oh, I have got to have that crystal right there, that one. Right. I have got to have that necklace right there, that one. And so it's just a fun, really fun expo. Last year it was in Lebanon, and it has just it's exploded this year. So that's a good thing.
There's going to be one in the Central Florida Fairgrounds it's mid-November, November 11th, and it's the Wicked World, and it's not a Paracon, but it's the dark side of fairy tales.
Ooh.
And that sounds so good because it's going to be very witchy and devilish. So Wicked World is called at the Central Florida Fairgrounds.
So I think saving dogs that's one of the better things in the world that I can think of. 1 second, I got to go hug my son.
Oh, yeah. I watched the Bills game with my son, and I was glad he was home for this one because I watched the last one alone, and we were high-fiving the whole time. It was awesome.
Who's awesome. Like that?
But I totally. So, Sin, next year, we're going to go investigate this October 28th. We're going to live stream the investigation from Block Island, but hopefully next Halloween weekend, we're going to have a whole big event and investigation on Block Island. So
that would be the best.
About getting you there.
Yes, absolutely. I would love to be. It looks like, and we'll have to ask Eric for sure, but it's looking like the Paracon is going to be this third weekend of October.
Okay. Every year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I so dislike when people give information in that form, Sen, because you make me do work. I have to figure out what the third weekend is in that month. You couldn't tell me the date. You couldn't tell me the date. You go,
no.
And I'm like,
when this year.
What?
It's the 21st this year, but next year it might not be on the 21st, but it's still going to be on the third weekend. From everything I've seen, I could be wrong, and please don't hold me to that because I don't want to lose my job.
Don't ever hold me to anything, by the way. Nothing.
Yeah, no. That's not. No. I don't think anyone should be held to anything because there's things called in the moment. Let me go now next to the kid trafficking thing. That is probably one of the better causes that I can think of. Period. And child cancer, but the problem that I've had with organizations, and not this one, the higher ones, that deal with this, there's always like was Savile, the guy from England? He was behind one. He was like the spokesperson for one, Jimmy Savile.
I know, yeah.
Dude, if you don't know who he is, he's one of the creepiest people ever. And then, what was the most recent one? There was another one with the director of it. There's been a couple. It empower over kids situations. Most people want to help them, right?
Right.
But that always gives me a weird vibe. Not with this group at all. Again, let me reframe.
Right.
I'm talking about a different thing. What I mean in specific was, how did you guys feel about Ashton Kutcher's letter to the judge? Because I think I have a different take than you guys do. So I want to throw that out. What did you think of him sticking up for Danny and saying he was a great
A good
person.
guy.
Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
What's
Sid.
the first? Sorry, you.
Mila too?
What?
Didn't his wife also?
Yeah, and they both stepped down from a child trafficking type group like 2 days ago. So, what did you think of his letter?
I understand that he had already been found guilty and that the letter was supposed to help the judge with sentencing. And I understand the difference between saying I approve of someone's actions and they were a good friend to me. If it was me and I found out that my friend had been convicted of several sex crimes, I'd be questioning, did I ever really know that person at all? And so I probably wouldn't have written that letter. Like, it's just unnecessary to me.
All right. Sin?
I agree. I totally agree. That's a little bit too much. Yeah.
So-
and if they didn't know that, what else do they not know?
Yeah, do they really know him at all to write a letter?
So here's my thing, and it's definitely because of my upbringing. Let me explain. Once it's your friend, if he goes down for something, no matter what it is, and you're allowed to talk about how he was as a person, as far as you knew, or what you thought of him as a person, other than the heinous things he did, I would always stick up for my friend. I would have got myself in trouble just like they did. Because no, and I'm being serious, it's not because I approve at all. I would be horrified at one of my friends. But like, if they asked me to write a letter that would help him not have as many years, it was still my friend. Like, I get it, but like, by me backing away from him, it would be like the last friend thing I can think of you'd want to. That's just how I am. Like, this is how we grew up.
Get out and do it again? Like,
No.
That's
No.
he
It was.
needs to be in jail forever, this guy.
No, he's gonna. It's a long ass sentence.
30 years. Yeah.
But still, 20 years. He's like what, 40 something years old,
It's got to be.
right? He's gotta be in his 40s, right? 20 years.
Gotta be close to it.
Even if that those letters could have knocked it down to 20 years, which I don't think letters can knock 10 years off a sentence. But let's just say the judge was like, "Wow, it's Ashton Kutcher," and he knocked 10 years off. He's still going to be 60 something years old when he gets out of jail. He will not be the same person. And he will be all done as a person. He'll come out as a shell. Like, there's some people that'll come out and you worry about they're going to, repeat offend. And I honestly think he'll be like brain fried. Like, him going to jail for 20 years, you know how tough it's going to be for him in jail?
It's going to be bad.
I don't think it's worth the risk because he'd still be young enough to commit that crime again. He might come out worse because you know what? He's going to get it in jail and good. I'm glad. But
he's not going to make it through, though. He might not make it through, though. Like, I'm really of the opinion that I don't think he might make it through. Like, he's going to be like, you can make a name for yourself if, you took a toothbrush, melted it down,
Yeah.
You really could. You'd become famous, actually, for being the person that got a hold of him. I'm just saying. I'm not. Please don't do this at home. I'm not recommending it.
No.
I'm just saying. I'm trying to think of the wackiest reasons for all this. And this is just where my mind goes. So, Sarah, do you at least see what I'm saying about the fact that they were asked to write about how they felt about him,
Right.
and it was supposed. Here's another big thing that I have a problem with. And it wasn't supposed to be released.
Well, that's
Like the letter?
In other words, they did those letters. They submitted those letters upon request or whatever. I don't think someone just goes, "I'm going to write a letter." I think because they requested actually everybody. I know this for a fact. Everybody on the '70s show wrote a letter for him. The mom,
Really?
the dad. You can go look it up. They all wrote letters to the judge. They're just talking about these two because they're the ones that are famous. My point is, the request was like rigged. It was like, take away the horrific crime. Tell us what he was like as a person.
Well, but here, let me throw another thing into it. Have you seen, because I've been watching some of the stuff that's been coming out about Ashton Kutcher since, and the way he was very inappropriate with the woman that was now his wife when he was of age, and she was still very much underage.
The whole show was. Yeah.
So it's just they're all kind of just creepy. It's all
Isn't that Hollywood though?
Yeah. But I mean, like, so did they back him because he's no better? Like,
you want to hear really creepy though?
What?
Who was he married to before?
Demi Moore.
Have you ever seen the Demi Moore?
Oh, that's right.
Video.
That's true.
That is creepy beyond creepy. That to me is evidence. Like, I watched that video and I go, but this is like evidence. This is so creepy to the point where this is evidence. Like, something wrong just happened, and we're all acting like, oh, she was just so flirty. I'm looking at the video and I'm going, no, that's evidence. That's evidence. I mean, even if, look, by law, right? Even if the kid's happy, which this is a fight I always get into with my wife, because, like, I'll read a story about like a 16-year-old boy that slept like with his 24-year-old teacher. And my wife's like, that's so gross. And I always say to myself, that kid's a lucky bastard. Like, he was so excited and telling his friends, no, because you don't think about yourself when you were 16. When you were 16, if you found out your friend did that and it was a hot teacher, you guys would all, trust me, that's how guys are. We'd all be like, yeah, I can't believe you did that. Like, no one wants to admit that side of life. How
right.
That's reality. Like, I'm just saying, as guys, we would.
As girls, I went to an all-girls school. Mm-hmm. We wore the skirts and the ties and the blouses. Junior year, they put into policy we all had to wear boxer shorts under our skirts because so many girls were trying to flash their crotches at the male teachers during class. just to get her. Is that just boys? Saying.
I hate boxer shorts.
Well, we were wearing them under skirts. We didn't have to put pants over them, I guess. So it hid the things that needed to be hid.
But what I'm saying is that they're just shorts that are thin.
They're just shorts.
That's really all they are. It's like, it's weird. They throw in boxer to make you all excited. Hey, Sin, how's Eric making out? Because we're at the midway point. And,
I'm messaging him right now.
All right, so then I will go further with this. All right, so
talking about underwear choices now.
Have you guys seen? We showed on the clip show the follow up about the Mexican Congress when they found the alien.
Is it cake?
All right, so check this. I can't find any follow up info on it. That was released on all the major media things, right?
Yeah.
That day it came out on all the major media outlets. I keep looking around YouTube to find like follow up on that. And it seems like that just happened, and people are like, oh, and then they just wheel them away, and no one said anything about it.
I know.
Like, I'm so confused with how we're handling UFOs and aliens. Like,
it's what they want us to know versus what they don't want us to know, and they want to control it, all of it.
Yeah,
it's on TV though, is what I'm saying. Well, watching it on TV, so everybody at home just goes, well, it's on TV. But it's. Telling you, joining us, but one of the greatest voices there is, Eric Sims. What's going on,
Hey,
everybody?
Not much. Just been busy. How's it going?
How's it going? I'm a New York Football Giants fan. We were down 20-0. That was 60-0 for each season. Yeah. We came back and we won, so it's going fantastic, Eric.
Well, that's good.
Eric, so right off the bat, new project you have going?
Yeah, a show called Strange Chapters, where I'm teaming up with authors that are nonfiction, paranormal, not just paranormal, but unexplained, macabre, weird things, and narrating the stories and getting their links out there, try to help them sell some books and creating some content for myself.
Two things. One, what's the name of the channel again?
It's called Strange Chapters.
Strange Chapters.
Yes.
Two, what if I told you I could pull up a video of me and you talking and me telling you that you should narrate stuff?
Yeah, I've been told by everybody I need to narrate stuff. So I've had that show in the works for a few months now.
I know. I'm not taking credit for it. I'm just saying it's blatantly obvious is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Sarah, would you agree?
Yes, I remember that show where you said that.
No, I didn't mean that part. I mean that it's just blatantly obvious. That
It is blatantly obvious. But
I'm
like
afraid. I'm afraid to meet him because what if he's just got like these effects on his speakers, and we go to meet Eric? And he's like, "Hey guys, how are you?" I'll be like, "Oh my god, that's a jet."
I know Sin. We're friends in real life, so she can tell you that the voice is real.
It is. It is.
So
He's
you
amazing.
should get a T-shirt, man. You should get a T-shirt made that says "The voice is real."
Oh, Eric, you should.
Sarah, you got a question for Eric?
Yeah. So you've got the new podcast going on. Sin was your first story. Can you tell us a little bit, like just a short snippet of what people can expect if they watch that, what it was about?
Yeah, it's from her book, Whispers in the Dark, and the 3 stories came from there, and they are all stories that happened to Sin as an investigator. And so they're straight from her real life case files of investigating the paranormal and things that have happened to her investigating, but also having private clients contact her and the weird things and weird dealings with people like that. And then some of her own personal experiences with the ghost cat and the ghost nurse.
Awesome.
But the way you did it was awesome. I love the opening. I love everything you put together. He, instead of just one picture that you see the entire time he's talking, he has all of these images come up as, like, if you're talking about a fireplace, he'll show this old creepy fireplace. If there's a hole in the floor, he shows this weird hole in the floor, and it's just continual through the entire 3 stories that he did that for me. And Eric, I think it's every Friday now, right?
Yeah. Every Friday, and then it comes out on all podcast channels, so people can just listen to the stories. Or on YouTube, it has the video component as well, like Sam was saying. And I put an AI to good use. So all the artwork is AI, so I don't have to worry about copyright or anything like that. And you get some really creepy, cool, unique artwork that the AI generates. And so, it makes for really good, especially for the paranormal stories. Some of the others, it'll be kind of a different style, probably with every author, just fitting it to the stories I'm telling. One of the authors I have coming up, his name is Robert Keller, and he does a whole series of unexplained books. So he sent me some stories, and those stories, one of them is 2 of them are weird disappearances.
Oh, wow.
So that'll be a little bit different because I'll do like the flyers, and some of the real life missing persons flyers and things like that.
Wow.
So that'll have a more real video component to it. Excuse me. One of them happened in a national park. So I'll go find stock video of the national park so people can see what we're talking about. So that'll have more of a real video component to it, to where Sin being so descriptive in her stories, it lent really well to the AI art for me to put a prompt in there and kind of get the perfect view to kind of give you that creepy feeling of investigating and the location, what it looked like and things like that.
So basically, Sin was more of a personal type thing where you kept the production like maybe lower in the sense of it fit the theme of things. You gave it more of a creepy feel than fast production, which you're doing for the new show.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So also, if you watch the opening,
wait, Eric. One quick thing for the record: kids' drawings are the creepiest drawings.
Yeah.
Of any drawing. So I know AI is that's spooky. I'll look at those all day long. They look like 70s posters, man. That's what they remind me of. I'm waiting for that velvet Cobra one. Everyone knows that freaking poster. I gotta get a T-shirt.
Black light posters.
Yeah, man, I love that thing. But lastly, I should have you, man. We'll talk off air about you would fit if you read my book with me, because I'm trying to change it to a first person point of view. I think that's why I don't have to talk about it. I never mentioned the fact I have a book out because I'm rewriting it so that it sounds more. It's a better story if it's in the first person. There it is. It's in like third person, which I wrote it with someone else. I think that was the major issue I had with it, because it and plus he's so much more eloquent. See, I can't even say that with his words than I am when I describe things. like my description words, they're more like harsh. It's not like I'm a loser at Scrabble. I'm just saying like he uses words that I had to look up. Like he was talking about the way water, it was liquid, but he used some liquidious type Kevin Hart type stuff, like words I never heard in my life. And I was just like, wow. Like I would have never wrote that. Like I honestly, like people would know that I didn't write that word because I don't. Why would I know that word?
That's not how you talk, right?
No,
yeah,
right. I'm saying so.
And that was. Go ahead, Eric.
Ron Murphy's amazing. I love Ron Murphy. He's going to be a speaker at our expo coming up in October. He's an amazing guy. But he speaks very, very intelligently. He's written lots of books about, and people are like, he writes books about vampires and things. Yeah, but if you go read them, it's about the history of where vampirism comes from and things like that. And it's very well researched, and he does really amazing presentations.
He was too good for me. He was like, what I'm trying to say is he's a writer on like almost like Shakespearean level. He's a great writer in description and all this stuff. My problem with it was you could see where I wrote and he wrote. Like it was so blatantly obvious in the book. Yeah, that's where I have the problem with reading it back because it's like that's me, that's him, that's me, that's him. It's got the feel to it. So I'm just trying to change it around. I digress. Sarah, how are you making out with your book?
I am not writing about my.
Oh no!
I know I need to, but I have not yet. I mean, I was going to ask. Maybe I should write. The big thing now on TikTok is the paranormal romance books. Have you guys ever read those?
No, but we've actually
not. But
they are like sexy vampires, sexy elves. I mean, Eric, you'd be great at narrating one of those. I should write a sexy elf book. I'm gonna write.
I could see myself trying not to laugh when I'm narrating something about a shiny slick shaft or something, or something weird.
Let me check.
Yeah,
I gotta check this for a second. This is important.
Actually, if you look on Amazon in the paranormal categories, the fiction, romance, paranormal are always the number one books.
Oh, they are so good. Not that I'm reading them at all. I don't read that stuff.
I'm working on my own book, which I was hoping to have out by this October, but I've just been so busy with planning this expo, which has become a beast, and I just haven't had time to finish it. But it'll be out next year before spooky season. So
what's that? What's that going to be about?
It's called Small Town Haunts and Legends of Tennessee. So it's focusing on the history and the hauntings of places that people have never heard of in all these different small towns. So I'm staying away from the big cities. And kind of the like I'm even staying away from the Bell Witch because everybody knows about the Bell Witch, whether you live in Tennessee or not. So I wanted to focus on the history and the hauntings of places, really interesting history and haunting that people have never heard of. Even me living here, being a Tennessee native, most of this history I've not even heard of. And we take Tennessee history in high school and in middle school, and I've never even heard a lot of this history that's really interesting about some of these awesome places. And the hauntings are just as cool, and also a lot of legends too that I've never heard of in Tennessee. That is different things like the giant catfish that are the size of
that's what you'd be reading for, Eric. Eric, that's what she's trying to get you to read for. And look, by the way, it's available as a name. My Only Paranormal Fans. But think about it for a second.
Mike, you should buy that because it's only a matter of time before someone needs that.
You buy it. Go right on GoDaddy right now. You should. I'm being serious. You know what's messed up?
What is it?
In a weird on GoDaddy. If in a really weird world, that name. Oh crap.
I already own like 20 domains. So.
Well, Eric, give Sarah a chance to buy it first. That wouldn't be polite. Unless you don't want.
I am domain poor. I have too many that I own right now that I have to pay $12 a year for.
Yeah.
So. Right.
Yeah. Because it's like buying baseball cards. We all think it's going to be worth something,
Yeah.
You just buy them up.
Like Strange Chapters, the new podcast. I don't have a website for it, but I own all the domains for it, like the normal ones, like .com, .net, and all that. And even the Unseen Paranormal podcast, I kind of let the website go and stop paying for it because it really wasn't getting a whole lot of traffic. Most of the stuff, social media, but I still own the domain names so that nobody can ever use my brand to do something ridiculous or malicious or anything like that.
So just sell the book and promote the book on LegitPodcast.com and just hook up your domain names to that website. So that way, when they type in your domain name, it'll bring you to the page on our site that has your book.
Yeah, and I actually have a free website for both podcasts through my through Spreaker, because I'm a Spreaker preferred podcast, and so I'm in their top 150 list or whatever. And so,
but I'm talking about YouTube videos. I'm talking about your YouTube shows. We air them live on the page, and then once you get your own domain up and running, when you gain traction with the show, you take the freaking show.
Yeah.
I'm being serious. Like, why not just use our page? Yeah. You should have a place for people to go to see your stuff. So I could do a page for you. For now, whatever. Sin, don't you agree? Like, in other words, I think it's really big in the paranormal right now that when people show up, right, at cons and paracons, they're gonna sell stuff. Mm-hmm. I want to know how to get in touch. That's the most important thing I think people can give away to other people, right? At those things. Like, if you know how to get in touch with that person that you're really interested in, that's how you're going to buy stuff. Like, to me, it's not that impulse buy where someone come by and buy your book. It's they take your card, they go home, they watch videos and whatnot. Next thing you know, they're buying, like, Sarah Para jammies.
Not used ones, because that's not used ones, because those are going on the My Paranormal OnlyFans, the used ones.
Right.
Sarah Parajamas. Oh my God! Oh, I can't believe I got this out of my mouth. Sarah Parajamas. That's pretty good. That's pretty damn funny. You should make them. You have to make them, the Sarah Parajamas, and they have to have the feet. Oh,
Why?
Sorry, you have to have the feet on the Sarah Parajamas.
I need a second.
That's pretty damn funny. Hey, and now on My Only Paranormal Fans, Sarah Parajamas. And they get the feet. Oh boy. All right. So Eric, lately, with the way that people have been treating everything paranormal, with just more okay. Do you find it weird? Have you been in the game long enough where you're starting to see that things that used to make people go, "Oh, wow," it's tempered off dramatically?
Oh yeah, especially in the past 2 or 3 years, and I think it's a good thing, because I think a lot of people are understanding now, to where even a year ago you had to explain to more people that TV is just entertainment, and that what they do, they come in scripted a lot of times. A lot of it's bullshit, a lot of it's fake. Especially like Ghost Adventures being the most popular show. And now I think people are realizing, no, he's not possessed every episode. Not everything's demons. That's ridiculous. And I think with more of us also putting it out there and talking about it, I know I've talked about a lot this year, especially just to educate people. And I still, when I do festivals and conventions and things, I still get people to come up to me and want to talk about the demon thing and ask me what I think about it. And it's like this, people are worried about this second satanic panic. And I think that's just us in the paranormal world thinking there's another satanic panic, because we kind of have tunnel vision when it comes to the paranormal. To whereas, 3 years ago, before I started my show, I was into the paranormal. I've been investigating for over 20 years, but not everything on my feed, on my social media, was paranormal. I only had very few groups and things like that, and very few paranormal podcasts to listen to. And so I didn't have that tunnel vision, but I think it's easy to get that tunnel vision when that's all you see is all that content. And unfortunately there's so many teams out there that don't know any better. You just blew by. Wait, hold on. You blew by something about Satan, and I'm still trying to catch up with that. What did you mean by the say that again? So like satanic panic. There was a big satanic panic back in the 80s that culminated with, if you're a fan of true crime, it's the West Memphis 3, who got, because of the views in the South, the Bible Belt, that everything's demonic, because they listened to Metallica and Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath and all these heavy metal bands. These two little kids were unfortunately murdered, and nasty things were done to them, and their bodies were dumped. And they charged these 3 teenagers with the murders, and they got convicted and put on death row. Well, luckily in the past couple of years, they've actually gotten exonerated and taken out, and all 3 of them are out of prison now. They had no evidence that they did it, that it was strictly they got convicted based on opinion because they dressed in black, they painted their fingernails black, they listened to heavy metal music, and so it was a culture thing, and it started kind of after the Exorcist movie came out, and people were more. It was more on the radar of people of satanic worship and demonic worship and satanic, all this shit.
So,
and
is
so
that
it just
more
kind of became a fever
stupidity?
pitch.
Eric, is that more stupidity than it is satanic? In other words,
Yeah.
looking back on
Yeah.
it, it's blatantly stupid to take those songs from those bands, right? Especially now that we have hindsight, we see who they were writing, right? Biggest problem with
Right.
Black Sabbath was they thought they were telling you to kill yourself, and the lyric was actually like be kind to yourself, something like that. Love
Yeah.
yourself, right? That got messed up.
Yeah.
So they were just stupider. So here's the thing: everything's evolving, everything's getting quicker. Like no one cares about. I don't want to say this. No one cares about alien stuff when they see it in a way that bothers me, right? So everybody's moving faster. Looking back now, the way we handled even ghosts was silly. Like Ghostbusters. Like that's. I really, as a kid, that's how I thought you handled ghosts. I did.
Yeah.
I thought you had to have a photon pack. And Bobby
Yeah.
Brown as you make your way in, which would have been awesome. If I could
Well-
have got Bobby Brown to sing at any point in my life, that would. Bobby Brown was the shit. That album. Never mind. Eric.
I think the satanic panic can come back around because I've lived in the Bible Belt my whole life. Sin, it lives in the Bible Belt, same as I do. And you still have this thing with religious people that anything you do in the paranormal is demonic. And that's just that's what they're taught. And it's a crock. It's not. And if you, not to get heavy in religion, but even if you get down into the Bible, it's not. It's crock.
So,
but
A lot of Florida's
but you
like
still
that.
have the action of Christianity, especially in the South, that everything's demonic, anything spiritual, and also not just with Southern Christians, but also in the Muslim community, everything's a jinn, which to them that's demonic, and
Right.
the jinn are not good. That's where you get genies from and things, and so they blame everything bad that happens on the jinn, and they're kind of a demonic entity that's up to no good, tricksters, things like that. So it's just different culture things, and so I think it's easy when people see shows like Ghost Adventures and they already believe because of their beliefs that everything's demonic and paranormal. And then you have these guys that are playing into it just to get payday and get ratings.
Yep.
And they don't know the difference between reality and TV
Right.
and movies, because then you watch the Conjuring movies with what's supposed to be a true story about the Warrens. And it's all that shit too. It's all because he was a self-proclaimed demonologist and she somehow suddenly became psychic when they started doing the paranormal. And then they amp it up for the movies, and people believe these movies are real because, like the Conjuring movie, that really happened to a family, but only 5% of that movie is true, and that was told to me by Andrea Perrin herself. So, and she was a consultant on the movie. So, just because they say it's based on true events, people automatically think, okay, well, 90% of it has to be based on true events, when it's really not. So it's a whole amalgam of things of people believing that there's so much more demonic stuff out there when there's not.
All right. But Sarah, I'll let you go about Florida and how they are there before I give my take. So what's it like in Florida, Bible Belt wise, like that whole spirit?
Florida's odd because we live around some like major cities, obviously, but there's just little rural, like sort of Bible type communities scattered all over the place. Like me being in the paranormal world, I have to be really careful about who I'm talking to because there's some people, if you say you're a paranormal investigator, they want to spray you down with holy water. I just booked, luckily, and I think in a couple of weeks, on this show, I have a friend of mine who's a demonologist. He's a priest here in Florida. So I've been talking to him a lot about it, and he actually just finished a case where they deemed it was actually a mental health issue and not demonic. So that's what.
No, continue. Continue the story.
So, I mean, I think that's something else that they're not doing on TV. They're hyping it all up and they're saying how things are demonic, and they're not explaining how some of these things can be related to a poltergeist activity, for example, being actually the person, a living agent coming from a person.
Right.
or mental health or any of these other things because they need it to be so paranormal.
Okay, I can't hold it in any longer.
Just say it.
I still think we're talking about stupidity. And let me explain. Based on true events, if it says that on a TV or movie show and you really believe that they're throwing in like 80% chocolate chips in that cookie, then that's just a stupid take. Of course they're gonna take one piece of truth and just make a story so that people will go and pay money and eat popcorn and watch it. Or nowadays, stay home, whatever. Secondly, hyping it up. That's what they do. They're TV. They're going to hype up everything. So if they get mad, they hype it up the way that they do. It's TV. Of course they hype it up. Lastly, spiritual is a word that I'm confused with because it seems like religion uses it and so does paranormal. They're at odds with each other, but they keep using the same word. So I throw this out to everybody. What if it's just all one thing either way? What if it's just all one thing? What if it's just one all paranormal thing? What if some religion's true, some of it's not? Just this big paranormal, like, picture a big green cloud over the entire earth. What if it's just all one thing? Like, they use the same word, and yet I always hear people fighting about it. That's demonic. That's this. That's that. The only thing I agree with the people that go, that's demonic, is I don't like when people go poking around. Like, I've learned that, like, I like investigations. But like when Sarah puts herself in harm's way and like she goes and does an experiment, she purposely is trying to like connect with something that's not good. That doesn't make sense to me. I just don't understand that part of it because I always think, and I always say this and people don't really want to hear it, you can let bad things out. Like everyone talks about how paranormal is always so good. Everything's good. That's impossible. It's impossible that it's all good. You know what I mean? It's a 50-50 split in my book. So there's got to be stuff that's bad out there. And young people that go out and do these things now, they're not only antagonizing the thing. It's like, I don't know if you ever between Sarah, my wife, my daughter now, and my son, I finally started watching TikTok videos because TikTok's the thing we're using now on all our. We're going to LegitPodcast, spelling out the .com to on all social media. Anyways, back to this whole TikTok thing. I don't like the way it's set up. First off, I don't like that. But I've seen some pretty good videos, right? And I've watched some of the young investigators. Now, hunters, they call themselves, which is
don't lump me in with these people because you say my name twice now.
No.
You'll let me respond after.
I'm just saying one of the people that introduced me forcefully because we're doing it now. The TikTok, so I had to learn it. Right, it's one of those things. What I'm saying is, I found all these younger hunters.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. Like they're antagonizing to the point of like, I'm hoping something bad happens. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like they're so bad that I'm on the side of the demons. I'm like, I would slap that kid right in the face. I would just knock him to the ground, and I wouldn't feel bad if the kid fell. Do you know what I understand what I'm saying at all, Eric? Like with that, the way they treat it.
Yeah, and Ollie, because even though I've never come across anything demonic in 20-something years investigating, it doesn't mean I haven't come across anything nasty. My motto is: you're an asshole in life, you're gonna be an asshole in death. Why would you change if we believe that this person just switched over? If they were not very nice in life, why would that just suddenly change because they're dead?
But that's still a person. You're keeping it at a person level.
Right.
That's an
right. Still
spirit there. That's still technically like a person. I'm talking about bad. I'm talking about like demon, which is the only word I can use, and it bristles people because they make it religious. But I can't think of another word. If someone can come up with a better word than a demon for what I deem something to be, I'll use that word. Seriously.
I think a lot of the things that get termed demons are what some of us call elementals. Elemental spirits that had been here. They never lived. They're part of the earth. They're here to protect the earth, the forest in certain areas. And I think some of them aren't very nice. And I think they do bad things to people because people go places they shouldn't be. If you look back to like Native American times, there are certain places they stayed away from because it was just bad energy on that land. They didn't like it, and they didn't go there. If anything, if they shunned somebody, they would send them there. Like, if you did something bad, like, murder somebody in your own tribe or something, they banish you, they exile you to these bad lands, because apparently your spirit's evil, so you can go be these other evil spirits. But a lot of that is like it's just inhuman. But wait,
demon,
it's inhuman stuff.
So Sarah,
Mhm.
see how he's not going to the devil level. Like he's not.
It's
What I'm saying is, I believe in the fact that it's bad and good fighting all the time, and that there's stuff that we don't know about that's so much worse than what we think. Like I just
We-
think. Yeah,
Well, we don't know what it is, so I think we all use different terms. I tend to be of the belief that, like you alluded to earlier, Mike, it's all kind of the same thing. It's a paranormal soup. It's just how people view it, but we're talking about the same stuff. But as far as doing the experiments and things like that, and possibly letting these things in, I'll pose a question to Sin and Eric, which is, if you go into a home and there's people living there that are terrified, or even small children, do you not try to make contact to see if you can help them? Or do you just say, no, I'm sorry, just, leave it alone, move, what are you supposed to do?
But here's my question then: Why is making contact going to solve their problems? What if he doesn't want to be called? What if he's got the phone on?
Because
You're
it's
calling him an
the
aggravation.
elimination, Mike. You have to. A lot of times, like if Eric was saying, it's just an asshole person. They just want to be heard or get a message out or whatever they need to say, and they'll go away.
So that's an investigation.
Yeah, it's
Thank
a
you.
process of elimination.
Well,
Thank you.
I mean, I'm still going to contact whatever's there and try to figure out what's going on, because you can also have spirits who will portray themselves as demonic,
Right.
because it scares people, and they're feeding off the fear, and that's what they want, because they want to
Right.
go out of their house or whatever, because
Mhm.
it was their house for 50 years or whatever. So you have to do that to figure out what's going on to help the people. Many of the cases where there's been really nasty things that I would maybe say were inhuman or demonic, whatever you want to call it, the people were doing it themselves. They were messing around with shit they had no business messing around with,
Yeah.
and they were bringing things in. And then when we told them to stop, they didn't want to stop, because they were addicted to the adrenaline rush of it.
Yep.
And the scare of it. And so they liked that jump scare, but at the same time, it scared them so much they wanted to bring somebody in to get rid of it. But then when you tell them, oh, we have to stop using dowsing rods, or you have to stop, whatever you're doing, pendulum board, whatever, however you're drawing them in, they don't want to do that. So that's when we back up and say, okay, well,
Yep.
if you're not going to stop doing what you're doing, then the activity, no matter what we do, we contact them, whatever, is not going to stop. And so that's when you back away, or you find out there's a mental health issue there that is causing them to do this. And then you kind of back away too, because you got to think, we're going to people's houses that we don't know. We could be putting ourselves in danger with somebody with a mental illness who, for whatever reason, has a fixation on satanic rituals, and they want to sacrifice your ass. And they know that by calling a paranormal team, the paranormal team is going to come out. I mean, I'm just saying, people have bad motives sometimes. And
so when you guys do, like,
we're going to try to contact it to figure out if it is something, if it is an asshole spirit, if it's a spirit that's playing games, or
you're
if it really is
investigating.
something. Yeah.
All right, but on your form that you make people fill out, right, before you go in their house and you take on stuff, did you ever consider asking them if they would bungee jump? I find that to be a real hard line with people. People who will bungee jump, to me, it doesn't make much sense. They're different, because I won't bungee jump, and I'll tell you why. What's the main goal of bungee jumping?
adrenaline.
No,
Yeah.
but what's the
Jump
main?
off something high.
What is the expected end result? Like, what's the end result that action's taking? You expect to not
You
Die.
defy death. You
die.
defy
The
death.
whole- That's the whole goal, not dying.
Yeah.
You don't
right.
die.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't die. I just, you see me dangle around, but I didn't die. Any game where the end result could be, oh, and then I die. I don't know. Put that on the list. Honest. You want to really nitpick people and see how they are. You guys would all bungee jump, huh?
No. I'm
Eric,
afraid of
no.
heights. So no.
See, all right. So you're shaking your heads no.
No.
But you have a look on your face like you don't believe my question, but yet we all wouldn't bungee jump. So I pose that to you, Sin. Do you think that's a good question?
I'm confused by it, actually.
Bungee jumping.
I know. So,
Good or bad? If the person bungee jumps,
and
it tells a lot about their personality. Don't you want to feel these people out? It's investigations. Columbo would ask that question.
Yeah, but you got a lot of adrenaline junkies that are really having problems, and you have a lot of adrenaline junkies that are making shit up.
And what else do adrenaline junkies do? Bungee jump.
Well, I can tell you, I'm an adrenaline junkie, and that's part of the reason I was a medic for 15 years, because I love the adrenaline of emergency medicine. But I'm also not.
But you
No,
wouldn't
I'm not hang gliding. I'm not jumping out of an airplane.
Yeah, would you jump out of a perfectly good airplane?
Right.
But I'm making a point
No,
here.
but we also, I mean, the questionnaire we have may not ask that specific question, but we ask so many questions.
Yeah.
We're at least on the phone for 2-3 hours asking questions and getting the feel for these people. So I might not ask that specific question, but we ask enough questions to get the feel of somebody, how their life is. Are you married? I mean, we ask everything. What's your medical history? What medications do you take? Things like that, because that can clue you in on a lot of things too. Not just mental health issues, but also health issues that can cause hallucinations and things like that. Medication side effects. And that's one of the skills that I take from 20 years in medicine and use is knowing medications, knowing side effects and how they can affect people being dizzy and all these other things that can be explainable. It's not necessarily paranormal. But we do ask enough questions that I think we get to the point that you're making. Without asking,
I would ask, do you bungee jump? Do you speed in your car and play like loud music as you just rip all around? Like these are adrenaline people. Like I think that's where the more negative side comes with the paranormal investigations. It's those adrenaline people that want something to be there because that's what they want. Even if it's there or not, those are the ones that are more likely to fabricate something because they.
But I would say
that's usually blatantly obvious, Mike. Go
all
ahead.
Right, but I would still ask bungee jump. Driving a car fast, anything that somebody does, we all agree we wouldn't do it, but yet, okay.
But I would tell you, the biggest adrenaline people that are into the paranormal are people like Sam and Colby, who have the biggest paranormal channel on YouTube. And you know how they got there? Because they were urban explorers, and they got their rocks off by sneaking into places and not getting caught. They would trespass until they got arrested for the third time and almost went to prison. That's when they said, oh, we got to change our shit. Where else can we make money? Because they were making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year urban exploring. They said, oh, the paranormal. And that's when they decided that they were fucking investigators and they're going to jump into our world when they know nothing about it because they could go pay a location and go there without trespassing and not get arrested. And that's a true story. They told that on Joe Rogan. That's the only reason they're into the paranormal. Otherwise, they couldn't care less. And so people that watch them need to understand that because they don't give a shit about the paranormal world. They don't care about the spirits that they go in and antagonize. So when you watch their videos and they get millions of views, just know that they don't have anybody's interest but their own making money in the grand scheme of things. And so that's part of the paranormal that pisses me off. And those are the people that you're talking about that are going out there bungee jumping, making videos because they're adrenaline junkies. And that's what they want. That's why they originally were sneaking into places and trespassing to begin with, because they got that adrenaline high. Even though they could go in some of these places and fall through the floor, hurt themselves, get killed, get trapped, get arrested, almost go to prison. Those are the people you're talking about. They're not the people that we're going to their houses investigating.
Right.
The weird thing is, though, I don't dislike the adrenaline junkie people. Like, I'll watch their stuff. Again, it comes down to stupidity. Like, how stupid am I? Like, I know what I'm watching. And sometimes I just like how silly and like elaborate they can be or stuff like that. Like, in other words, I feel like it would be better to not try to push them out, but just you gotta like people have to be smart enough to know what's a produced TV show that always has something happen at the end, as opposed to what's real. Like and how you're gonna make people learn that Paranormal 101 is gonna be really hard to do. But you gotta break through that first.
But also because of them, you get two ends of the spectrum. You either get the people that believe everything they see, or you get the people that believe nothing.
Right.
And because of them, and they know that Sam and Colby's full of shit, and that they're making things up, and these other YouTube channels are making things up, and it's blatantly obvious they're faking evidence, then if I put up a piece of evidence, it's automatically fake. And you get so many trolls online, even though I'm not saying this is a ghost that I caught, because I've never said that, I can't prove it. I can't put a VVP up and say, I've been on y'all's show doing the clips.
Yeah.
I've never once told y'all a place was haunted. I said, here's what we caught. You make up your own mind.
Right.
Because I can't tell you for sure. But if I put any evidence up, it automatically gets trolls shutting it down because of shows like Ghost Adventures and things on YouTube where people faking things and
or it's not as appealing. or it's not as appealing because the fake looks so much better, you know?
Yeah.
But trolls, right? You just don't acknowledge them. No, like this is like a learning session. You just don't acknowledge them because I'm being honest. If you don't exist, then they don't exist. But
you can go.
I'm gonna win.
I understand what you're saying. I'm not saying the normal internet trolls that just troll everybody and they just hate everybody and they shit on everything. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about just going into any paranormal group on Facebook that has a couple thousand people in it and put up a piece of evidence, and you will have more negative comments about it than you will positive.
Right.
And also part of the problem with that is that you have people also think everything's paranormal, and so they post pictures of everything that's not paranormal, and so people pick it apart. So then when you put something that is real up, that is potentially real, something interesting you caught, they're going to automatically tear it apart and shit on it because there's so much bullshit out there that they just automatically become pessimistic about it.
Guys,
you cracked me up the other day on a post that you did, Eric. And I won't say it completely, but Karen was mentioned, and you said, "You're not going to ruin my day." Remember that one? Looking this up right now.
Yeah.
Sarah, I got to ask this question.
Yes.
See, my mind on this conversation. We are all in agreement that it's posting something on the internet, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It ends right there. My conversation, I'm done. I already made the decision. Like, of course you're going to get nothing but negative stuff. Like, you posted it on the internet. Like, I repeat it again. Like, of course it's going to be horrible. No one wants, dude, they want to feel better by making you feel bad. They don't want you to be so bright so that you can be, dimmer with them. Of course, dude, no one's going to stop and give compliments anymore. Like they're going to stop and give an insult. Like, and some people are going to insult, period. No matter what, they're going to say it's garbage. No matter who you are, that guy, the local guy that used to be a radio disc jockey here. I won't say his name again, but he kept coming on one of our shows and calling it, BS. And like, I know this guy, which is weird, from like band days, and he's out of his tree, but he's so like, goes crazy about when people show evidence. He tells them it's fake and all this stuff. And it's like, if you read his posts and you just follow a couple days in his life of his posts, you can't be a happy person. You can't be, because you're thinking such negative stuff all the time on everyone's evidence.
Right.
Where's your happiness? So I literally just will look at that stuff and go, it's the internet.
Well, and I understand what you're saying, and I don't engage trolls very often, and they don't irritate me very often. I don't let them get to me. But we also have to have a place to put our evidence of the real stuff that we know we've caught.
Right.
And it's fine to have other investigators who really look at it and criticize it in a analytical, smart way of saying, oh, maybe it's this, maybe that's just a lens flare, maybe it's because of this reflection. I welcome that kind of criticism. But when you can't put anything up because you have people who don't know what they're talking about, they either tell you they see 10 spirits in a photo that has nothing in it, or you can point out what's in the picture, and they're like, oh well, you're just seeing things. But it's one extreme or the other is the crazy thing that drives me nuts. You either have these people that are so fucking crazy and so into the paranormal that they see the paranormal everywhere, and so they are self-proclaimed psychic that they read this photo and see 20 spirits, and you have 18 attachments on you because you put up a selfie, or you have these people who just won't take any evidence whatsoever. So my question to you would be, where are we supposed to post anything as far as good evidence in the paranormal with teams that are doing good things? How are we supposed to share that without just doing it within our circles? Because I think the general public needs to see that as a opposite to the BS that's on TV and that's on the internet.
So you got to know your crowd, right? So you're posting evidence on sites where dummies are going to come out from everywhere and say it's fake. You already know that.
Well, but they're everywhere. They're everywhere.
All right. My whole point, Sarah, he's right with where can we put it so that it's not, But when you do post something on the internet, like you know your crowd. Like the crowd. They're gonna come out and say negative stuff. So it's like, I don't even know if I would pay attention to it because it doesn't help anything. Like
remember what I
Go ahead, Sid. I'm sorry, Sid. Go ahead.
It's okay. Remember what I said to you about Wyatt's EVP?
Mm-hmm.
When you said it's so good it's fake, I said, I don't care. Because I know where I was, what was going on. So that's kind of the stance that we have to take when we post something now.
Right.
And we've got followers that know us and know we're not going to put something up that's crap.
Right.
You know, we believe what we're putting up. And it's up to you to decide yes or no if you see the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's important. People need to research, like, not everyone will, but the problem with this field is there's no education, right? There's no certificate. You don't know. Some of these investigators that are doing this have never even read a book. There's so many people that came before us, Hans Holzer, and like, read some books. I'm not saying that all the books are correct, but at least know enough that you can make an educated opinion about what's going on. And like Sin was saying, so much of this is the way you feel in the moment with the air. Like, it's so much of it is your senses. You can't put that in a post.
Common parasense.
Common parasense. I like that. So you have to trust the people you're following. But I mean, if you're serious about it, look into them. Like, look into if they've had any sort of how long they've been doing it. How long they've been doing it, honestly, isn't even as important to me as if they educate themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and kind of my mission.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of my mission with the Unseen Paranormal podcast, with having guests on, is to try to educate people the proper way. And to tell them, and also tell them, I would never dismiss your story because I want you to dismiss mine. And that's what Sin is saying. Because a lot of times, if you're not there, you're not going to understand the context of it anyway.
Exactly.
And so I get that in the paranormal, but there's a right way to do things and the wrong way. And so I even go into some of the paranormal groups without trolling people, very nicely say, hey, that green orb in your picture, if you go look up iPhones, did you take that with an iPhone? Yes, I did. Well, they're notorious for having green lens flares that look like orbs. And they look like they move around when you move the camera because of the way the glass is. And I've had a lot of people be real receptive, but it's also in your approach to people. And I feel like I will combat this as long as I'm in the paranormal to the day I die, of all the trolls and stuff that just automatically throw things out, or maybe they just need to change their approach. And a lot of it, like you're saying, Sarah, is the education. And I think it's up to us, a lot of us who are experienced, to go out and do that. And one way I've been able to do it is through doing public investigations. That the people, when they buy a ticket, they're an investigator with us. And we teach them the right techniques and the things to do on an investigation. But we also let them make up their own mind about equipment and things like that. I'll explain to them why I don't like a piece of equipment, but I can't tell you if it works or not. I don't know.
Eric,
I don't like the SLS. I think it's a crock, but I can't tell you if it really does pick up spirit sometimes. Maybe it does. But
Eric, all the worry and all the energy that you put into combating trolls on the internet is time that you could be doing much more creative stuff. Like, in other words, I really.
Oh no! Don't get me wrong. I'm not on the internet. I'm not on the internet every day combating trolls.
Fun.
That's not what I'm saying. No, I'm just saying I use my platform to try to educate people. And like I said, when people come out to investigations, and even like the expo that we're doing in October, everybody that is a speaker there, including Sin herself, are people who are on the ground doing legitimate research and doing things the proper way. And it's not about having some big para celebrity in there to draw people in the door. I want people to come in the door, and when they watch the speakers, to learn things that they didn't know about the paranormal. And even down to some of the vendors.
It's a bullshit.
Yeah, even down to some of the vendors. And I hate to say this publicly, but I'm going to. We have a list of paranormal teams that I don't care for, that we would, if they asked for a booth, we would not give them one at our expo. And that seems like paranormal gatekeeping. But at the same time, I want people there that represent the same values that we share in the paranormal, not some team that's going to come in and set up a booth and be supposedly educating the public all day when people come in who don't know any better, and they're just spreading misinformation and BS about demons and things like that. So unfortunately, we have to have a list of some teams that we're just not going to deal with the expo from this year moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people can come to your event and they can trust that you didn't just give spots away to anyone for the money, but that they can trust
Right.
the sources. Like you have vetted
Yeah.
the people that are going to be at your event, which is important.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, and it's not
Yeah.
just knowing about the paranormal. We should be teaching people about normal and basic science because some of this can be explained with that. And nobody talks about it.
You know what it is? It's you guys see it differently than I do. I don't invest.
Yeah, obviously.
You guys see it as it's good for your name because, of course, if I wanted to show something, I wouldn't have bullshit with me, right? What I'm saying is I like to talk to the bullshit people. I enjoy hearing what they have to say.
It's fun, yeah.
From my end, like when I do like a podcast, I want everyone. Like I want to talk to everybody because I want to see the bullshit. I don't want to just block it off and ignore. Let's talk to it. Like I don't want to have a message thing with it, but like, let's talk with the bullshit and see if it's really, because we've had some clip shows where when we start to go silent, especially her, that means, oh boy, we're having trouble.
We make this face.
We had one poor guy, and he's a great guy. He's actually a guy. I can't remember his name. He's a great guy. He really is. He was using that whole Xbox, the line thing.
Oh God.
And then by the end of the show, he was
the SLS.
I had him pretty much agreeing that it doesn't really,
It was mapping furniture. Yeah.
It didn't really work. It was weird. It was like I didn't want him to agree with me because I wanted him to keep his stance. Right, Sarah? We didn't want him to come all the way around.
Right.
And be like, yeah, it's kind of not, because like, we're doing a show on it. So
I think I disagree with everything he said. But the difference is, Mike, we're not claiming the Clips show is public education. Like if he's promoting an event saying it's education, that's different.
That therein lies the difference.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is it's more entertaining sometimes.
Yeah.
When you get, and the thing is, that guy actually has really good. I've looked into his website. He has actual real good footage of other stuff. Like I just don't buy the Xbox stuff. I
don't buy it. I don't use an SLS camera.
It was weird to me.
Yeah,
everything is dancing all the time. Like ghosts don't dance that much. I refuse to believe all ghosts.
They're all dancing all
always
the time with the arms doing this.
It's like Charlie Brown,
the river dance.
Yeah,
all ghosts are part of river dance.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Now that would be hell.
If that's going on the other side, I don't know. I want to go.
Be hell. You guys ever think about that? What hell would be? Because I would imagine that it's probably what your biggest fear that it would be, right?
Oh.
Like,
yeah.
Make hell. I make it individual for everybody. Yep. What's the worst thing you could think of? Well, that's right.
Some people say that's what heaven is, so why wouldn't hell be that too? That it's whatever you imagine heaven to be. But yeah.
Have any of y'all ever watched the show Lucifer?
No,
it's one of my favorite shows. It's a great show.
So not
that's
directly, but indirectly, because
but that's kind of how they took that stance on the show Lucifer, that everybody's hell was the worst moment in their life, and they had to replay it over and over again until they reconciled with themselves and were okay with it.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? And then they got to go. Then they got to go to heaven. So they weren't stuck in hell forever, but they had to relive the worst day of their life over and over and over again.
That show had too many seasons. It was too long and too many seasons. That show was watched by my wife because she liked the show, not the lead actor. Not the lead actor. Not
who's the lead actor? Wait, now I want to know who is
my point. No, sorry.
He's half naked. He's half naked all the time.
Listen to me. That show had a little too much soap opera in it, if you get my drift, for me, that I started to tune it out. Like, I get the guy's handsome, right? It was too much handsome for me. Like, it was like I love Burt Reynolds, Tom Selleck. I don't know why I'm telling you this. Guys like that, classic old school handsome, right? You know? Lucifer is like one of the. It's so much Cinemax. No, but it's almost like Cinemax. A lot of the people that were watching it for same thing with that other one, Supernatural, the two brothers.
Yeah, I get that.
God, that
Lucifer. Well, I mean, the lead character, the reason he was like that is because he's the embodiment of Lucifer. So he's about all things hedonistic, and so that's why he's sleeping with different people and walking around half naked all the time or naked, because he's the embodiment of Lucifer. So it fit in the show. It wasn't just. I think it was genius by the show creators, because he was the living on earth embodiment of Lucifer, the devil, and he loves all things naughty, right? All things hedonistic, and he's drinking all the time and doing drugs, and like he's naked all the time with different women, different men, and it's because that's what Lucifer, right? The devil's all about, and so it made sense with the show.
or it's what draws everybody to watch it.
Well, that too. But
My
I'm just
point
saying
is-
it made sense with the show as well.
I had trouble with the stories, but I understood why everybody was watching it. That's my whole point with that show. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
If I'm gonna watch that, I'm gonna watch Game of Thrones because there's
still don't.
never
Do you have a show like that you watch just because there's an actor or actress in the show?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we all do.
Oh yeah.
Like what?
I can't move away from Outlander.
Oh yeah.
No.
Oh my God, Jamie.
I don't.
Have you
It has to have a good storyline, or I can't watch it because my ADD is like, no, I'm not having.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've watched the entire series. I know 6 times, and there's 7 seasons.
I will
And
watch
I'm
anything.
Fighting for the next ones.
Yeah, I'll watch anything with Idris Elba in it, like nonstop.
All right. So I've never had a show like that. That's the reason I watched it ever. It's always been the show. There's never been someone on.
Yeah.
I don't have like the Hollywood crush. Like I can't name someone famous off the top of my head. I just can't.
You don't have a hall pass? You don't have a hall pass?
Why?
Greg's
so
is Sandra Bullock.
You want to hear something silly? I do have a hall pass. I picked like oh man, like there was a supermodel and there was one of the actresses. I forget who it was.
Yeah.
My wife, she picked the guy who cuts my lawn's cousins.
Oh, yeah. The idea is it has to be someone it can never happen with.
Unattainable, yeah.
That's
What?
a little close. That's
What?
a little too close.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's,
I just thought it was a waste. I just thought that she was being silly. Like, why waste it on those guys?
Oh,
but it could. But it's supposed to be somewhere where it's not going to happen.
yeah.
Oh my god!
Completely unattainable.
Yeah, mine are Jeffrey Morgan.
I want to see a pic of this guy.
You guys just walked into that joke beautifully.
Oh,
Eric, how would you like to? How would you like to? She picked you.
everybody felt panicked for you a little bit there, Mike.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I'm not. That's a Norm Macdonald joke. That just you just walk into it, and I just said it because I can't believe you guys were going to walk into it. I kept going. Eric, what would you like to say to wrap stuff up?
No, wait.
All right, speak.
Eric, talk about the Paracon.
Yeah, well, he could have said that.
Yeah. So October 21st at the Fairgrounds in Nashville, Tennessee, we are having the Tennessee Haunts and Legends Expo. And we're going to have over 80 vendors and a full day of speakers. And Sin is one of our speakers. And we have everybody talking from, we have a Bell Witch. This dude is probably, if there's an expert on the Bell Witch legend, he's it. Pat Fitzhugh. And then we have Tennessee Bigfoot guy that's going to be talking about Bigfoot in Tennessee. We have Brendan Alice and Mustafa Gadalori from Haunted Discoveries, a new TV show that's coming out. Them guys are doing awesome things. They were both on the A&E Ghost Hunters. They've become friends of mine, and so they're going to do the expo. But they're doing some awesome scientific things on their new show, Haunted Discoveries. We have lots of paranormal authors. We have YouTube channels. I think now we're up to 6 podcasts, including mine, going to be there. So we have paranormal teams trying to represent the paranormal for all of Tennessee. So I think we have some tour companies that have booths, and yeah, just a little bit of everything. And then we have, of course, all the different merchandisers that make cool artwork and things like that, paranormal themed, and everything from crocheted Bigfoots and Mothmen to some amazing artwork that some people do. So we have a little bit of everything, and it's going to be on Saturday, October 21st from 9 to 6. Tickets are $10. Ages 12 and under are free, and the majority of the proceeds go to 2 different charities. One is a local historic location called Trousdale Place in Gallatin, Tennessee, and the other is Animal Rescue Corps, and they help bust up puppy mills, especially in counties that can't afford to have their own animal control and things like that. So, and then they place those animals into no-kill shelters around the area.
Now, are the people going to speak at the Paracon? Every table is going to have a time to speak.
Not all the vendors. We will be advertising the vendors up on the big screen. We have a stage with a ginormous screen. In between speakers, we will be rolling their logos and throughout the day talking to some of them. With that many vendors, it's hard to get around. It's going to be hard to get around to talk to all of them. But
I'm
we're
just
definitely.
thinking crocheting stuff. You're crocheting Bigfoot. I come to your table and you got crocheted Bigfoots. Like I feel bad for your day. I'm gonna go try to find you sunscreen because you're gonna be sitting there in the sun with your crocheted Bigfoots. Because I gotta tell you, Sarah, would you buy a crocheted Bigfoot? Maybe you would. I don't know.
Would.
Where'd you put it?
So
What'd
I'm
you
the
do?
worst person to ask. I have like stuffies and gnomes and stuff like that all over my office.
I know you.
I think
You see what I have behind me?
Amazing.
You have so many knickknacks and things behind me, and
Yeah,
yeah.
I would buy a crocheted Bigfoot. Somebody send me one.
Sin?
I think I'd get the Mothman.
Oh yeah, that'd be even cooler. Yeah.
So therein lies my problem. I'm gonna give it to my dog. That's what would happen. I would come home and throw it to the dog, and the dog would eat it. Because
I bet, Mike, you would find something there at the expo that you would like.
Yeah.
no, I guarantee I would. I'm talking specifically, Sin. Don't get me twisted.
Okay. You are already twisted.
I know. I'm
This
talking
Also, the one thing I did say,
crochet Bigfoot.
tickets are on sale now, and people can find tickets at TN Haunts and Legends Expo, TN Haunts and Legends Expo.com.
Letter T, letter N, Haunted Expos.
Haunts and Legends Expo.com.
Haunts and Legends. It's always good to make the guests repeat the website because it should be said at least 3 or 4 times. So one more time there, Eric.
TN Haunts and Legends Expo.com.
There you go. Now they'll remember it because they'll go, why did that guy with the beard have to ask that question again? Sarah, you have anything to say to wrap up?
I do. I would like everyone to go to LegitPodcast.com. So it's LegitPodcastsdotcom on either Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. And King Mike Owl who your hall pass is because he wants to know.
What?
I'm telling everyone to go to our social medias and message you who their hall pass is.
I would love to know people's hall pass.
I figured you would. That's why I did it.
To be honest, because my problem is see, therein lies the trolling. They would send me to, and I would probably have a problem with one of them, and I have to tell them, like, why would you pick this person? I don't know if I can let that go, so that's why I think it would be fun if they message me that.
Mike, you got to be part of the solution, not the problem.
Yeah, right.
I'm part problem, part solution. Like that's really a weird thing to say, but I really am. Like I'm for the solution, but sometimes I like to grab the problem and shake it up just to see kind of what happens with it. And that's not adrenaline. That's just pure chaos. If that makes any sense. Sen, what would you like to say? You have anything you'd like to say?
Books. My books are on Amazon, Sen Schrader Hill Author. And you can reach me, Sen Schrader Hill Author, at gmail.com. Find me on Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, all the above. And of course, on LegitParanormal.com. I am there as well.
LegitPodcast.com. If they go to LegitParanormal.com, it'll take them right to LegitPodcast.com.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
There's a lot of that'll take you to LegitPodcast.com. I actually found some that would take you to LegitPodcast.com that I didn't even know existed. Yeah, that's true too. So you can have a lot of things go to that site. I think that's kind of what we're making over the whole show. A lot of things can get linked to that site, you know?
Also, I want to say one more thing, please.
Yep.
Well, 2. Eric, thank you for coming on. You are phenomenal. We love you. You know this.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Love your voice. You know this too. My team and I are going to be in Fayetteville at the public library on the 8th. Come see us. We're putting on a little question and answer period. We're going to tell you how we got started, how you can get started, et cetera, doing a little education. So Fayetteville, Tennessee, on the 8th.
A little legit Paranormal 101 on tour, sounds like to me. You guys are spreading the word. I think that's the best thing you can do. I think that's going to be one of my favorite shows to do because it's bringing it down to my level and start telling me stuff. You know what I mean? So that I can learn as opposed to speaking on like a 400 level college course.
Right.
You know? And I barely passed my English, passed the test to get in. So that's my point.
But you should remind people that we are off next week. So Paranormal 101 is going to be Thursdays at 9:05 live. We're going to be off next week because it's Mike's birthday. But then we'll be returning the following week.
So what's going to happen on Mike's birthday is this. So it's next Thursday. The Giants are also on a short day's rest against the 49ers, who are going to absolutely smash us, right?
Happy birthday.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a good chance on Thursday, all Thursday night, there's just going to be a drunk Mike shouting at the TV. That's and for the record, this will be my last legit paranormal in my 40s.
That's
You
right.
know,
Can we start calling you Gramps?
What do you mean start? My point is, it's 49 was worse. Again, I keep saying that because you say 49, people go, "Oh, I'm gonna be 50 soon." And it's like, yeah, I didn't need to hear that. 50, it's like, yep, I'm 50, and they go, because I've said it to a couple people, they go, "Oh, I like that better." Because 50, I shock them more, but how absolutely old I am, right? No sense in. I don't mean nothing by this. I'm just talking about myself personally, how I feel, my feelings, not age, not a number. Look, I got a lot of white hair on my face. It's God's way of telling me to get my affairs in order. Like, I know what's going on. So my point is this.
I mean, you're half a century.
Yeah. No. And here's the thing that's messed up. When I go back to
I'm about to be 70.
No.
Yeah, I still don't believe that. I don't buy that. I think that's a lie. I got to check.
I don't think so.
I'd have to check papers.
Yeah, I need to see your license, man.
When we were kids, the world was so much different and our parents told us that.
Yeah.
So it's making you really wonder where everything's going. And I don't know if anybody here would vote that things are getting overall better. I think they got sanitized. I feel like the world had bleach thrown on it, and then they separated everything nicely. Like, there's just no more, like, kids in dirt playing with a stick, running through the woods. You can't go to a neighbor's yard and drink from the hose when you're playing. Like, this is the things we used to do.
Your children.
I live in a small town in the country. And that still happens around here.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, it got.
So I have friends raising their kids like that. So
I wish that was the case. Sarah, what were you saying?
I said your children text you to tell you they got engaged. No phone call. No tradition. Text.
And so when I heard that, I didn't even think, why didn't they call? I thought, isn't he supposed to talk to the dad first? That's how old I am. That's what scared me more.
I thought that too. And I got corrected because there was a follow-up phone call from stepmom, and she said, no, I told him not to because it's not medieval times, and my father does not own me, which made me feel super old too.
So my daughter knows. She knows that this kid would have to talk to me first because I've met every boyfriend. They have to meet me, and I always make it very uncomfortable, and I always go very old school, and I always let them know what I'm capable of doing to them should they hurt said daughter. So if she didn't bring, or my son didn't bring, I guess it doesn't matter. My son, I'm hypocritical, but I admit it. I mean, hypocrites are one thing, but if you admit to being hypocritical, I think it's kind of explainable. No,
yeah.
I don't have to hear from my sons, whoever, that he get married. My daughter's different. Like, that's there's just she's like the one I protect first. Like, you know what I mean? If she hears me, she'll kill me. That's like to me, the weakest one in the house. She's 5'3", 100 pounds. She's small. Everything about her, it's got to go through me first. Like, I'm just like overly protective with her. With him, take a couple lumps. They'll figure it out. I'm a hypocrite. I'm trying to tell you that. I'm not lying about it. I'm being dead honest. But like, I would want to know.
Yeah.
From the guy that he
planned on it, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, is that just old sin, or is that just respect?
I think it is respectful to talk face to face. I'm okay. I'm old school.
Yeah.
I'm old school.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with being old school with certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's it. Eric,
gonna
I'm
be-
sorry. I will talk forever because I'm literally in probably the best mood you'll see me in, and I'll be in this mood for about 3 days. And I'm not joking. You guys think I'm kidding, but that
I know
Giants
exactly.
game.
We know you're not.
So
No, we watch football.
you guys have paranormal. Some people have like loved ones. Some people have like actually like dreams and hopes and aspirations. I have the New York Football Giants. Like I am so stupidly connected to a football team, and it's really some people would call it a mental illness. Some people. My point is, I'm really into the like. I live and die by their games. When they lose, like last week, I'm in a bad mood for like 2 or 3 days. I can't shake it because I follow them even in the off season every single day of the year. That's the only thing that I will sit down and watch. I can't sit for show. Although I saw Jack Reacher on Prime. Now, that's a handsome guy.
Jim?
He's extremely big.
Mhm.
Wouldn't want to fight that guy.
Yeah.
That's one of those guys that if you look at him and you go, I'd fight him. You're an idiot. He's just too big. He's like 6'5". His traps are like this. He's one of those guys that the only way you're gonna beat him is if you somehow can grab him and pull him forward and get him to drop, and then choke him. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm being honest. Because what are you gonna do? Try to go up and hit him? He's like a Bigfoot. He's like Sasquatch. He's gigantic. He's ridiculous. He's awesome scenes. Oh, love that. And then I just started watching The Boys.
Oh, that show's so good.
Wow, right?
But so violent.
The main
Yeah.
guy,
Yeah.
the blonde guy,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like the Superman type guy.
that smile
Oh, it's
Like,
creepy.
is so. How is he so creepy with just
He's
smiling?
so creepy.
How
He's
does
so creepy.
But how can someone just smile and it's so it just it's creepy. It's just
Yeah.
crazy. Like that actor, that whole character is that's some good stuff. All right, I'll stop rambling. Eric, you get the Paracon coming up. You've got the haunted. I'll get that. It's TN haunted. I forgot it again. What's it called?
TNHauntedLegends.com. TNHauntedLegendsExpo.com.
All right, and the channel again was the channel you got going on.
We got the new show, Strange Chapters, is out now. You were listening to the podcast, the Unseen Paranormal Podcast with the guest on every week. We'll be back in November. And you can find me on social media, Eric Freeman Sims. I have a public page. And people can find me at the Unseen Paranormal Podcast, Strange Chapters, or at Tennessee Haunts and Legends Expo on Facebook as well.
That's exactly what I was going for. Sarah, nothing else to plug?
Nope.
Did you get my only paranormal fans?
I'm going to as soon as we come off of here, and I also have to buy Sarah a pair of pajamas apparently now too.
Oh, parajamas. No,
Parajamas.
it's parajamas is hilarious. All right, so let me do the wrap up here. For Eric Freeman Sims, for Sarah Parajamas, for Finn Trader Hill author. It is me, Mike Lubbery King Mike Elders was legit. Paranormal brought to you by LegitPodcastsdotcom. Tomorrow night, I do not believe we have Compass of Curiosities. I think our next show is Tuesday, which is in at 7:05. Thank you for watching. I'm